Hello and welcome to 2CrazyMedia. I'm your host Matthew, and today I'm going to be giving my review on Mixtape. This game just came out just on Thursday. As of recording this video on Tuesday, May 12th, the game released on May 7th, and I've been playing it since it released Thursday night, and I have been so excited to talk about it. I've been super busy the past few days. That's why there wasn't a review this Sunday again. I know there hasn't been a news roundup video on Sundays in a while now, and that's just because I'm now in final season for school. I have a ton of finals, essays, projects, just so many things that I'm currently juggling with school-wise. So because of that, I just don't have the time to focus on also making these videos, which take hours. They take longer than you would expect. So I've been totally haven't found the time. There's so much I do want to talk about in terms of news and stuff in video games, but I just haven't had the time. But I was like, I have to. If there's one thing I do, it has to be make a review on Mixtape, because this game is still very highly talked about online, both good and bad. But I really want to talk about this game because I know the whole internet has something to say about it, and I also want to give my thoughts because I did play the game. So yeah, super sorry about not having any uploads recently, but I should have an upload this Thursday. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet for the video. I honestly have no clue what the topic's gonna be this Thursday, but yes, should be video this Thursday, and then I'm hoping now that, final season, it's starting to slow down. I'm finishing more of my essays, more of my assignments, more of my projects. So as I finish more, I'll have kind of more free time to get work to be able to do these videos. So hopefully I should have time this Sunday to upload a news roundup. But enough of that, enough of the housekeeping. Let's jump straight into my Mixtape review. And like always, like all the reviews I do on the channel, before we jump into my opinions, first just want to give a couple little details about the game. So Mixtape was developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur. If you don't know who they are a studio of less than I think 30 people in Australia. They're very indie studio. Their first game was The Artful Escape, which is a game I never played and honestly hadn't heard of for a little while. I just started hearing about it more closer to this game's release. But it looks really cool. And so this is their second ever game. This game is published by Annapurna, so that's really cool that Annapurna is helping them publish it. It's awesome. It released, like I said, May 7th, 2026. It has an open critic as of today, May 12th, an 87, which is really, really good. One of the highest of the year so far. Now, it did last week when it first came out, and over the weekend, it had above a 90. It started out with a 94, 95, which is just bonkers. That's insane. So it has decreased as more people have played it and more reviews have come in, but 87 is still really, really good. And it currently has an 80. It's sitting at Metacritic with an 85. So also extremely good. Just so well reviewed by most people, which is awesome. You love to see that of any game. I love seeing any game review well. If I could choose, every game would have higher than an 80 on OpenCritic and Metacritic. But sadly, that just isn't the way it works. But the time I've spent playing, it's a short game, so it took me about 3.5 hours to complete the story the first time around, and that was just because I was taking everything slow. I wanted to do all the dialogue options. I was trying to do everything I could, because that's usually how I'm the type of person who, when I first do a first playthrough of a game, no matter what game it is, whether it's a Resident Evil game where you're going to do multiple playthroughs, or a game like this, I love to kind of do everything I can experience and do in my first playthrough, and then just if I miss anything, then second and third playthrough and all that. So it took me about 3.5 hours to complete the story. I know people who it took them a little bit longer, and I know people, though I don't think any longer than 4 hours. I think 4 hours is the longest you can push it to, and I know some people who have completed it in 2 hours and sped run it. So it's a fairly short game, though, because I have replayed a lot of moments from the game and stuff. I have about 5 total hours on it now, as of today. So the platforms it is on is PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. The platform I played it on was PS5 Pro. I don't think there's any improvements from the PS5 to the PS5 Pro, so I'm sure I have the same performance and graphics quality as people on the PS5 did. And just to read a quick synopsis, Mixtape is a coming-of-age musical adventure from Beethoven and Dinosaur, creators of The Artful Escape, and Annapurna Interactive, set in the 1990s. Players follow teenagers Stacy, Slater, and Cassandra on their last night of high school, navigating nostalgic vignettes, skating, and making trouble to a curated soundtrack of legendary alternative rock. So now let's jump into my thoughts. And just quick disclaimer, I know this game has had a lot of discourse on Twitter and places of very mixed thoughts, and while I'm not someone who's going to go comment on that and say whether anyone is right or wrong, I'm going to say that this is just my own opinion. I think, I respect everyone's opinion on this game, whether they liked it or loved it. I think everyone has their own opinions on games, and I think that's what's so special about video games, that you could play like the best game, like a game that people consider to be amazing and say, oh, I didn't like that. Or you can play a game that most people consider to be not great and you say, oh, I really love that. That's the amazing thing about gaming and kind of just opinions in gaming. I think it's awesome. But it just kind of reaches a bad point when you're attacking other people for their thoughts on a game. So just wanted to kind of put that out there before I give my review on Mixtape. So just to just rip the Band-Aid off and start it, to me, Mixtape is, a masterpiece. It may not be that way to everyone, and that's okay. But for me, I absolutely love this game. Like, absolutely adore this game and everything about it. It's a game I have been looking forward to ever since I saw the first trailer, 2 years ago at the Xbox Game Showcase in 2024, I think it was. They revealed the trailer, and I remember watching that trailer and be like, that was like the trailer of the show, or like one of my favorite ones from the show, just because I don't know why. I would never think, because I'm not someone who usually loves like coming of age stories in movies. There's not many, or at least I don't think I've ever played a coming of age story in a video game, but at least in movies. I've always been someone who always kind of cringes and doesn't like seeing like people my age or younger or a little older in film and stuff. I always kind of cringe and I'm like, I don't like that. So I don't know why I like the trailer so much, but I just remember being like, wow, this looks amazing. I think maybe it's probably the music, because I love music. But yeah, ever since I saw the first trailer, I've been so excited for it, and it did not disappoint. And the big thing people are commenting about this game is that they can't relate to it, which is fair. Not everyone is going to relate to this game, and I also don't really relate to this game that much. I did not grow up in the 90s. I was not born in the 90s. I can't really relate to much of some of the stuff the characters do. I lived a very different life than they did, because a lot of it is very 90s coded and stuff like that. And yes, but it still hit extremely hard for me, even though I can't relate to a lot of it. Many of the themes, and that's because there's so many themes in the story, from friendship and the uncertainty of life when you're a kid, that hit extra hard for me as someone I'm still in college, and so still kind of around that age range, still a young person don't know what they want to do in the world. And so a lot of the stuff on like friendships and leaving college and saying bye to the people who you were friends with high school your whole life. Like, I've had experiences like that where I had a hard time saying bye to people before going to college and being like, I'm not going to see you as often now. I'll see you every once in a while, but not as often. And how kind of hard that hit for me. And that's why it hit hard for me while playing the game, because like these are experiences that I've gone through. Just the uncertainty of life as a young kid is also something that still hits for me. And so I love that. I think that's what I related to so much, was the themes of the story and all that. It may not have been growing up in the 90s and some of the nostalgic elements. Like, I don't have any of the nostalgia for anything of this game. I was not a skateboarder. I skateboarded a little bit when I was really young, but I haven't really touched the skateboard in like 10 years or something. So I just that's not the part I related to. It was so much else that I loved. And also another thing I love is music. I don't talk about it on the channel much or at all, because this is a video game and sometimes movie channel, so I don't really talk about music that much. but I love music so much. I listen to so much music and so many different genres and time periods of music and all that stuff. And I just love discovering new songs and new artists. And so I think that's what I loved about the trailer when I first saw it, was that this is a game so focused on music, which is like, I just love it. The key to my heart is when music is in and done well in film and video games. I think when you can have an awesome needle drop or just a great song in a moment in a film or a video game, then that's the key to my heart. I absolutely love that. And this game is like the definition, the perfect game for that, where it's all about, this main character you follow, Rockford, who it's the last night before college, before moving to New York, and her two best friends, Slater and Cassandra, are planning to have a big party night where they're going to go first to Rockford's house, and then they're going to go to Cassandra's house, and they're going to go drink at some like shed in the middle of the woods, and then they're going to go to a beach party that they were invited to. And during the whole thing, Rockford, who wants to become a music supervisor, which is like someone who creates the soundtracks for things, for like movies and all that. And so that's what she wants to be. That's like her dream job. And so she created the perfect mixtape for the day. And so you go through each song of the mixtape, and she'll kind of like, Rockford will kind of like almost break the fourth wall and speak to you as a player and intro the next song. And I love that. I thought it was so cool. It just instantly hit. All the songs were great. There was only one, I think for other people who grew up in this time and recognized most of these songs, I think it probably hit even harder for them. Like for me, the only song out of these that I knew was Love by the Smashing Pumpkins, and that's just because I'm a massive Smashing Pumpkins fan. But like, I've never heard of like even some of these bands like Susie and the Banshees and who else? Mondo Rock. Some of these bands I've never heard of in my life. And I have been just, ever since I finished the game on Thursday, I have just been nonstop listening to the soundtrack. Every single song in like the soundtrack is amazing. It's all I've been listening to lately. Portishead, never heard of them before this, and now I'm like obsessed with them. So it's just like, I love discovering new music, and I think the music works so well, and it makes the moments from just fun to just amazing. Like, I think that's what really put this game over the edge for me, is the music. And I think what's so powerful is that I've always believed that music is extremely powerful. I read something that said that only 50% of people get goosebumps while listening to music, and I thought everyone got goosebumps listening to music. Like, when I listen to music, a lot of times I'll just get goosebumps, and I love music. I think music is so powerful, and I thought everyone did. And so when I'm playing this game and I'm getting these goosebumps while just listening to some of these songs during these amazing moments, and I'm like, this is amazing. I'm loving this. It hits so hard for me, just because music in other mediums has always hit very hard for me personally. That's just a me thing. I don't know about others, but yes, just for me, like, it hits super, super hard. So that's why this game just hits so hard. But yeah, so I love this game. I think, to kind of comment on some of the things people online say, I've heard people say that, it's a game you can't even play. It's a movie. And yes, it is very much mostly a watchable game. It's like a Telltale, but without the dialogue options. Where there's not a lot of actual gameplay in this game. That is true. There's only a few sections. There's obviously a lot of gameplay sections, but most of the game is cutscenes and story and all that stuff, which I don't have an issue with. I usually go into games wanting the story to be the best part. That's usually me. So just because I love story in games and all that stuff, maybe that's the film side of me. So I don't have an issue with that personally, but I know that people do, and that's totally fair. But I think you can't say that this isn't a game, because at the end of the day, it still is a game. Games can be so many different things, and I think people just need to almost broaden their horizons and realize that Mixtape is just as much of a game as any other game out there. Yes, it may not be a Souls-like or an action RPG or a racing game or something like that, but it is still a video game. So yeah. It may not be a very interactive game, and you could totally have issues with that, but it's a game. But I didn't have an issue with like there being not that much gameplay, just because the gameplay that was there was really fun. I love the skateboarding, and that's kind of where another thing comes in for how much I love about this game, and that is anyone can play this game. I finished this game and I was immediately like, I know like 5 people that I need to play this game with. I know so many people that I'm like, next time we're doing something, you need to come sit down with me and we're just gonna play this game through. It'll just take one sitting, just reserve 2.5 hours out of your day. Come over, we're gonna play this game, we're gonna experience it together, and it's just a game I want to show to everyone, just because of how amazing it is. And just, there could be someone who has never played a game before, or barely plays games, and they could pick up a controller and play this game and have the best time ever. It isn't trying to be difficult. It isn't trying to be hard. There's barely any, if not none, no fail safes in this game. If you crash if you hit a car on a skateboard, it's just gonna rewind you back to where you were like a second ago. And I think that's fine, because I think it makes it so accessible to everyone, where, you know, I finished this game and I instantly called my dad and I was like, when I come home from college in a few weeks for summer, we're playing this game together. We're taking 3 hours out of our day and we're gonna play this game together. And that's because he also like is a little more interested in video games than some other people his age would be, and likes to see some of this stuff. But I'm like, I'm coming home and we're gonna play this game together and you're gonna play it. And I think that's just really special. I love that for this game, and I there's not many games like that. Like, I think this is really, really cool, and there's almost like a community aspect to this game that I wasn't expecting, but I love that so much. So yes, anyone can play this game. Another thing I really love is the story, obviously. I think that's one of the best parts of this game, other than the soundtrack for me, is just, I love the story. I didn't think the writing was that cringy, but like also at the same time, it was cringy in a good way, where as much as you may not want to admit it, I feel like everyone, if you were to go back and listen to yourself back when you were in high school and listen to a video of yourself talk and speak to your friends, you would probably say, wow, that's really cringy, or I was really cringy back then. Wow, that I'm cringing so hard. Because that's just, I could bet everyone would have that experience and has had that experience if they have gone back. And so I think that it is perfectly good, the writing, where I think it fits well with the age that these characters are, and also the time it's set in the 90s. Like, I was a girl in the 90s, but this is exactly how I would expect people to talk in the 90s to each other, especially people still at the end of high school. Like, I wasn't shocked by any of this. I didn't think any of it was cringy, to be honest. I was totally fine with it. I thought it was great writing, honestly. I think a lot of moments as well, you know, when it really breaks through, and it's, because a lot of it is funny, it's comedic, it's lighthearted, but there are a few lines in there, snuck in there, where it does get really emotional at times, and those are the lines that hit me especially. I love a game that can get me emotional, because I am someone who gets emotional very easily when it comes to movies and also games a lot of time, but I get less emotional in games, obviously, than movies, because there are way less games that are trying to make you cry or feel emotional than there are movies. And so when a game can get me emotional, like, that's an extra point for me. That's something that I love, because that means it's doing something right in terms of story and writing and characters, and it's making me care for these characters. And in just 3 hours of playing this game, I love these characters, and I cared for them, and I cared for their story and where they're going in life, and I wanted to see where Rockford ends up in 2 years, and maybe that's me also being in the same place as her, and the uncertainty of still being in school and not knowing where to go and having these dreams in life, and maybe that's me kind of wanting to see that through. But at the same time, like, I felt for these characters. I felt for their ambitions and their dreams and their goals and their traits and all that stuff. I found myself, tearing up at the end. I didn't think I would. I was like, wow, I'm tearing up. And then when the end happens, and I'm going to spoil it because I'm sure most of you, it's a short game, I've probably already played it. But, at the end of the game, when you get like the prompt, like Slater and Rockford are saying bye and they're holding hands one last time, and on the screen you see "Don't Let Go," and I was like feeling really emotional at that point. But it didn't get me until, the word "don't" fades out. And I'm like, wow, that really got me. And I even shed a tear or two. Like, I was shocked by that. And I love that. I think that's really it just shows you how good the writing is in this game. And the characters and how much I felt for them. It was great. But, I mean, I love so much about that game. Another really cool thing, the animation, the graphics, as some would say. I think the whole slowed down, slower FPS animation looks beautiful. This is a beautiful looking game. It's a very, very, very pretty game. So many moments in this game are just so good looking. So yeah, but to kind of end this review, because I don't have any issues with the game, honestly, I was listening to a review, KindaFunny, actually, their review on it. And one thing that Blessing said that, like, I really agreed with was, like, he said this game is, like, a perfect game where he may not have given it a 10 out of 10, but he personally thought that this was like a perfect game in terms of he couldn't think of any issues with the game design itself. And neither can I, honestly. I don't have any issues with the game. Like, I loved it. I finished it and said, I want to replay it. I still haven't had the time to fully replay it, but I want to fully replay it soon. I want to fully replay it multiple times. I just love the story. I'm constantly thinking of, obviously, the soundtrack because I'm constantly listening to it. I'm thinking of so many different moments, and that's kind of what I wanted to get to at the end of this video, was just talking about a couple standout moments for me that I absolutely loved. And so this is going to be full spoiler territory now, where I am just talking about all of a bunch of moments that really, I was like, whoa, that's a moment in a game I will never forget, or I'm going to remember for a long, long time. I think in terms of my favorite moment of the game, there's a lot of different fun gameplay moments that you could pick. I think the one I always go back to and think of is probably the Yesterday's Hero, the running, where you are, as obviously Rockford, running to get to Cassandra before her father does at the gas station while she's drinking with Jenny fucking Goodspeed. And so I love that part. I remember playing it and be like, this, it's very like, it's a total Ferris Bueller callback, which is like, I would say, and this is something I forgot to mention, but I'll say it quickly right now. This is definitely the best video game that is a coming of age game. I haven't played I haven't really played much other coming of age video games, but this is instantly going to be the best one that pops in my mind when in a few years down the line someone says, hey, what's the best like coming of age video game? I'm gonna say, oh, Mixtape, easily. And I think most people will probably agree. But like I don't love coming of age movies like Ferris Bueller. I think it's a fun film, but I don't love Ferris Bueller. But I'm like, if someone were to ask me just what is your favorite coming of age anything, I'd say Mixtape. But the running part was very Ferris Bueller like, where at the end of the movie, you know, he's running through all the backyards and all that stuff, and so this is very like almost a homage to that, which I loved. I thought it was really, really cool, and just from the song to just the jumping, and again, it's not hard. There's not really a fail-safe with it. If you don't jump over in time, your character will just climb over. If you don't slide, you just slide right under in a second later. Like, there's no fail state to it, but I don't really care that much. Like, if you press no button in that one part, yeah, you'd probably complete it. But that wasn't an issue for me, because I didn't go into Mixtape with the hope of super hard difficulty gameplay and, you know, fingers on the controller, sweating and all that stuff. I did not go into like I did going into like Saros, where that's what I went into Saros expecting, and that's what I got with Saros. But in this game, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting really any gameplay. You know, I think most people went into it thinking it was a Life is Strange game. I knew it wasn't, because I'd watched interviews and stuff beforehand. But still, though, I went into it not thinking there would be a lot of gameplay, or that the gameplay wouldn't be the part that like wouldn't be like a fully part. And I think you have to go into this game with the expectation, because then I wasn't disappointed by it at all. And so just that one part was probably my favorite part of the game. Other ones I keep going to replay. Obviously, running through the field with the flying and jumping is just so cool. That scene is it's amazing. You've got, I love the shopping cart chase is really fun as well. The song is great. Sensitive to Light by Rainbow. awesome song, really fun. I think, just speaking of my favorite song of the game, obviously the song that I knew going into it, Love by the Smashing Pumpkins, during the part where you are skateboarding to the shitty Ritz, and you can like flip off the cars and it blows them up or anything, and that was such a great moment for me, just because it was also really cool. I liked how simple but fun the skateboarding mechanics were, but also just like, you know, the song hit me hard because it's a song I knew going into it. I love the Smashing Pumpkins. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. So being like, oh, this is awesome. The Smashing Pumpkins in this game with skateboarding and blowing things up with like flipping them off, like awesome moment for me. But yeah, there's so many other moments in this game that I just absolutely look back on. I think the softball part is actually really fun. I enjoy that a lot. I've gone back and replayed that one multiple times just because I'm trying to get the platinum on this game, and that is like one of the hardest things for me. I don't know, but for the life of me, I cannot get a home run on all of them. I keep messing up on at least one, and so I've been retrying it a million times, but still, the song is great. The Touch by Stan Bush, that was originally in the Transformers animated soundtrack. Awesome, great song. The way it like needle drops into the game is fantastic. It's so good. But yeah, no, that part was great. Just so many fantastic moments in this game that I adore and love. And so that is why I'm gonna be giving Mixtape a 10 out of 10. That's right. I love this game so much. This is a game that I'm going to think about forever now. This is a game I was just so excited for. I even talked about it in my review, in my video at the beginning of the year of my top 10 most anticipated games of the year. This was, I feel like, pretty high up there for like most anticipated. Like maybe like top 7 or 8. Like it was high for being like a tiny little indie game. I've been very, very excited for this game, and very vocally on the channel excited for this game for a long time now. And so to finally have it, and it to not just live up to my expectations, but love it more than I thought I would love it, and to relate to it more than I thought I would, for, you know, not relating to a lot of other parts of the game. And so because of that, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. It's a game that I cannot wait to play multiple times through, and any game that I come out of it saying, I want to play this with my dad, I want to play this with my brothers, I want to play this with everyone I know that's close to me and have them experience it, that's something that's going to be special for me. That's going to hit harder for me than any other game out there. And so that means a lot to me, to kind of be able to share my love for games and this game to other people. And whether they like it or not, that doesn't matter as much as just getting to share the experience with other people. And so that's going to be all for this review. Again, Mixtape is a 10 out of 10. That is just my opinion, though. If you have any other thoughts of this game, if you played it yourself and maybe didn't like it, or had issues with something, or have the same opinions as I do, or not the same opinions because everyone has different opinions, but maybe some similar thoughts or some different things, let me know in the comments below what you'd give it out of 10, what are your thoughts on it, and please keep the comments positive. Obviously not positive, you can give it a negative review, that's totally fine, but don't be rude to anyone who maybe liked the game if you didn't like it, or didn't like the game and you liked it. But yeah, just be respectful in the comments. But yeah, love to hear your opinions below of what you thought about it. And that's going to be all for today's video. So if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications to be updated as soon as my next video on Thursday comes out, and then the video hopefully on Sunday, and then next week, which I honestly don't know what I'm going to do video-wise for the next upcoming weeks until we get to like 007 like Batman. So here's hoping there's like a surprise PlayStation State of Play or something that I can do like a prediction video for coming up soon, because yeah, it's other than like big games releasing, there's not much else. So that's gonna be all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.